the Brewers are out on the field. I'd say that we got a very lucky break this afternoon. Al Brown, myself, Don Carney took a trip out to County Stadium to check out this football press box that they have out here, because the regular station where we broadcast from has not been completed right out in the open, and we would have frozen. There's been no way we'd have been able to talk without our teeth chattering and our fingers in deep freezing. So the two bosses got together, decided we'd do it from the football press box, which is situated down beyond first base. I said it gives you an altogether different perspective of the game. It might be a little more interesting from up there. We've seen so much from directly in back of home plate. But as we mentioned, a big, big ball game for the Yankees. Milwaukee could be spoilers, and they'll be out there trying to win. So it'll be no easy task for the Yankees. Especially with Baltimore, as we told you. They defeated the Detroit Tigers 7-6. Baltimore got 7 runs on 9 hits and 1 error. And the Tigers 6 runs on 12 hits and 1 error. All right, we're ready to go, and Roy White ready to step in. Dick Hauser coaching at third, and Elton Howard over at first. White batting .275 on the year as the young left-hander Kevin Coble gets the sign from Porter, and the first pitch of the ball game is taken for a strike. Fastball right down the middle. White bluffed the bunt, and Coble was charging off the mound. Roy has 19 doubles, 8 triples, 7 homers, and 43 runs batted in. The kick and the curve is swinging and a miss. Strike 2 took just a little bit off and had Roy out in front. Dick Hauser said coaching at third, Elston Howard at first. The 2-strike pitch fastball is just inside, a ball and 2 strikes. Both Hauser and Howard have warm-up jackets underneath their uniforms. Thermal underwear would come in handy tonight. As they drive down the left field line, it's in for a base hit. Briggs has got to play it on 1 hop. And Roy White, after getting 2 quick strikes on him, starts off the ball game with a line single to left. So White continuing to do an outstanding job. Boy, he is really finishing in a blaze of glory this year for 74. And it brings up Elliot Maddox. Elliot right now batting .304, and this is the longest I can remember Elliot going without a base hit. Oh, it's something like maybe 10 or 11 times that he has not gotten a base hit since he got a hit his last time up in Cleveland. The pitch to Maddox is low and inside, ball 1. But Elliott's still over 300 at .304 with 26 doubles, a triple, 3 homers, and 44 runs batted in. George Scott holding the bag against Roy White. Money is in at third. Coble sets, and the curve is over the outside corner, 1-1. Maddox steps out to look down at Dick Hauser. On a night like this, it's tough on the hitter's hands. If you don't hit it solidly on the bat, you get bees. Oh, man, if that wasn't a balk, that was really close to a balk move. Almost picked Roy White off at first base. Left-hand pitcher cannot step towards the plate and throw to first. Coble comes set again. Pitch is lined to right center field. That one is being caught by the right fielder. Sixto Lascano. Looked like he misjudged it deep to right center. He had a one-handed on the dead run. The wind is blowing out that way, and it looked like the ball was going to go over his head for just a moment. So there's one away now, Alex Johnson. Alex batting .286 with 15 doubles, 3 triples, 5 homers, and 42 runs batted in. Takes a pitch low and outside, ball 1. With the Yankees, Alex has been about 19 times with 3 hits, 1 double, 1 homer, and 1 run batted in. But that home run was a big one up in Boston. Kept the Yankees in the pennant race. Fastball swinging a foul back is 1-1. 1 man out. And on the Fanagram, the big scoreboard, the Orioles clinch at least a tie for the American League East by defeating the Tigers today 7-6. Another throw to first, but Roy back easily. set. Fastball line to right field, but Lezcano right there, one-handed again. Fires back to first, but over the head of George Scott, and Roy White is back safely. Two shots hit to right center and right field, both one-handed. And now Lou Piniella. Lou batting .306, has 25 doubles, 9 homers, and 70 runs batted in. Roy White, who opened the ball game with a single, still at first. Piniella has had 6 hits in his last 12 at bats. All right, the stretch and the pitch to Piniella. Outside, ball 1. So the Yankees have hit the ball hard here in the very first inning. But only White's ball has dropped in. The other two were one-handed by the right fielder. And there's another throw to first. White is back. Lezcano caught one, the fly ball by Medich in the end zone, and the other one on the 5-yard line. They got the football field here where Green Bay plays some of their games. Playing right on the 10-yard line now, and there's a swing and a miss, and another was going for the seat. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out. On deck, Thurman Munson. We told you Bobby Mercer not playing tonight. Bobby with that head-first slide going into third base in Cleveland. Hurt his shoulder. Just can't swing the bat freely. Piniella's right foot almost out of the batter's box. Again, Coble set. There goes White. The ball is swung at and throw to second. Not in time, and backing up nicely, Tim Johnson. Or Porter would have been charged with an error, and Roy White gets another stolen base. And for Roy White on the year, that's his 15th stolen base of the year. Boy, he had an excellent jump. Piniella took that pitch, by the way. It was right down the middle, which shows some good teamwork there. Lou seeing Roy White get that good jump laid off. And now Roy White in scoring position. See if Lou can pick him up. 2 men are out. It's tough throwing the ball. Tough keeping warm out there. All the players blowing into their hands. Roy White with a good lead-off second. Porter flashes the signs to Coble. Here's the stretch. And the pitch is a curve a little bit low. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Piniella steps back. The outfield plays loose straight away. Garcia's on the edge of the outfield grass, deep at second base. Coble comes to the belt. Pitch is popped up. Back of first. Scott's got a long run. He's not going to be able to catch up to it. So Piniella gets a life there. The count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and White at second base. No score in the top of the first. The Orioles really putting the pressure on the Yankees. They continue to win, and the Yankees continue to win. And even by the Yankees winning, they cannot pick up ground. Everybody will have to be rooting for Detroit tomorrow. Again, the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. Lou was not happy with that call, but he's called out on strikes by Bill Hallett. For the Yankees, no runs, a hit, no errors, a man left. In the middle of the first, it's the Yankees nothing, and the Brewers coming to bat. Doc Medich out on the mound. He's looking to become a 20-game winner tonight, and it'll be the first 20-game winner since Fritz Peterson won 20 in 1970, and the first sophomore to win 20 since Mel Stottlemyre did it back in 1965. All right, so Doc, his last outing on my birthday, Wednesday, September 25th, Shea beat the Boston Red Sox 1-0 in 10 innings for his 19th victory. All right, so the doctor will be pitching to the leadoff man, Don Money. Money batting .285, 32 doubles, 2 triples. triples, 15 homers, 64 runs batted in, and 19 stolen bases. There's a swing and a foul over alongside the Yankee dugout. Strike one. Money is an excellent leadoff man. Reminds me a lot of Hank Bauer. He's the kind that can put you ahead 1-0 with a home run. If he gets on, he can steal a base. The Doctor's next pitch, a curve, hits the outside corner. It's strike two. It is nice and warm in this football press box. The only thing you miss is the noise of the crowd. Well, there's not much of a crowd here in this freezing weather. There's a swing and a miss at a sidearm curveball, strike three. Doc came by the way of third base that time. Really fooled Money. And on 3 pitches, he strikes Money out. And that brings up Sixto Lezcano. Lezcano batting .255. He's been about 47 times, 12 hits, 2 doubles, 2 homers, and 8 runs batted in. A right-hand batter. Curve is low and outside, ball one. For Medich, his 151st strikeout of the year. He is 2 behind Pat Dobson now, who leads the Yankees with 153. There's a strike on the outside corner. It's 1-1. Stands well up on the plate. Fastball swing and a miss. Strike two. Ball and 2 strikes. Well, Del Crandall was rehired for next year, along with Harvey Keene, Joe Nosick, and Bill Walton? No. Foul back in the crowd, not a play. It's Jim Walton. Walton coaches at first, Joe Nosick at third, and Harvey Keene is the batting coach. Matter of fact, Al Whitmore, who was the pitching coach, will be in charge of all the minor league teams. And I read in the paper who's the new pitching coach, and I forgot. There's a drive, a base hit to right field. Played on 1 hop by Lou Piniella out there, and Lezcano, after falling behind, lines a single to right. First hit off the Doctor, and it brings up George Scott. Scott batting .279. Boy, he's gone down. Last time we played him, he was right near 300. But he has 36 doubles, 2 triples, 17 homers, and 81 runs batted in. Oh, Chambliss holding the bag against Lezcano. Got a short lead as Medich sets. Pitch to Scott is fouled back upstairs and out of play. Strike one. On the year, Lezcano has tried to steal once and was caught stealing. So this is the first time we've had a chance to really get a look at this youngster. Get to know him for next year and the years to come. Yankee infield in double play depth, and they play Scott straight away in the outfield. He's got a lot of power, but he's not a pull hitter. Curved by Medich, low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. No score, quick throw to first. Runner's back. Has shortened up just a couple of steps at second base. Here's the pitch, and it hits the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. On deck, Darryl Porter, the catcher. Milwaukee has a lot of outstanding young ball players. Medich comes to the belt. Checks the runner. The kick and the pitch is popped up to right field. Should be easy for Piniella. Lou moving to his left. Under it now. And pounds the glove and makes the catcher's 2 away. And with 2 out, Darryl Porter will be the batter. Porter's batting .242. 15 doubles, 4 triples, 12 homers, and 56 runs batted in. Really is quiet in here. All you can hear is Bill Kane popping his gum. Sounds good, though, Bill. With a full moon up there, I mean a bright full moon. And it's got to be bright. It's so cold that clouds wouldn't dare appear in that sky. Well, I would see a little snow, though, but it's going to get down below 30 in a very short time. I put some water out in a paper cup out there, and I'm going to go keep checking to see if it freezes before the night's over. Pitch to Porter. Fouled in the upper deck and out of play. Normally a full moon is beautiful to see. The moon looks like it's pursing its lips and blowing all that cold air right down on it, doesn't it? It's only in the winter. Winter has come early here. They tell me this time of year the weather is beautiful, or should be beautiful. I'm here in Milwaukee, I'm talking about. All right, Lizcano leading away. And Medich checking him. He's going. The ball is low. Munson's throw. Oh, for some reason Mason came in front of the bag. I don't know why, unless he thought the throw was going to be low, and Munson made a beautiful throw. Led her high, and Mason came in front of the bag and had no chance of even trying to tag Lizcano. Couldn't figure unless Thurman, with his trouble with his arm, has been throwing them low all year, that Mason went in front expecting it to be low. Pitch to Porter, ground ball right at Sandy Alomar. He's up with it. Flips to Chambliss for the outdoor. They get out of the jam. Oh, Milwaukee got a break but couldn't take advantage of it. No runs, a hit, no errors, a man left. At the end of one full inning, it's the Yankees nothing and the Brewers nothing.
We can update some scores now in the National League. Cincinnati and Atlanta, after 3.5, it's still Atlanta 4-0, but Norman has come in to pitch now for Cincinnati. Pittsburgh scored 3 runs in the bottom half of the 4th inning and now leads Chicago by the score of 3-1 after 4.5 innings of play. Smith hit his 23rd home run for St. Louis with none on in the 4th, and that's been the only score thus far, as St. Louis is leading Montreal by the score of 1-0 after 3.5. In case you missed it, Baltimore won earlier in the day by beating Detroit by the score of 7-6. Jackson getting the win, his record 6-4. Hiller, the loser, 17-14. Minnesota shut out Texas 6-0. That's the final. Gholst, the winner, his record 10-10. David Clyde got the loss, and his record is 9-9. The Twins didn't waste too much time. They scored 2 runs in the first, 3 in the third, and 1 more in the 4th, and that was it for the rest of the game. A 2-hit shutout for Gholst, picking up his 10th win of the season. Former Philadelphia 76ers star Billy Cunningham has returned to the NBA club after playing 2 seasons with the ABA Association Carolina Cougars. Fight manager Dick Sadler says heavyweight champion Foreman has bounced back real well from the icon, which postponed his title bout against Muhammad Ali.
And now it's the Daily News home run playoff inning. The 2nd inning. Thomas H. Ryan of Queens Village, New York, will have Thurman Munson batting for him. Kobel's pitch to Munson is low, ball 1. Remember, $100 for a single, $200 for a double, $300 for a triple, $1,000 for a home run. No score. We're in the top of the 2nd. Pitch to Thurman is popped up in the shallow left center. Coming on is Coluccio and Briggs calls and makes the catch. There's 1 away. So, Tom Ryan gets just 2 tickets to a future Yankee home game. And now Charles G. Kellerman of Lyndhurst, New Jersey, will have Chris Chambliss batting for him. Let's see, Munson was up there batting .260. Chambliss batting .255. And I tell you, the month of September has been an excellent month for Chris. Chambliss has hit in 21 of his last 25 games. A left-hand batter. Kobel, a left-hand pitcher, delivers. It's in there, strike 1 call. 1 out, nobody on. No score in the top of the 2nd inning from County Stadium in Milwaukee. Fastball fouled back into the crowd. Man, they had a duck in a hurry to get out of the way of that one. That was a bullet. Right back into the box seat to the left and behind home plate. You get hit tonight, you're really going to feel it. All right, 2 quick strikes on Chris Chambliss. Curve bounced to first base. Scott has it. He'll make the play unassisted, and Chambliss is out. 2 away, and 2 tickets go to Charles D. Kellerman. going to have to get started. And now John E. Kovacs of Norwalk, Connecticut, will have Greg Nettles batting for him. Greg had a hot series in Cleveland. He's batting .246 with 22 homers and 75 runs batted in. Pitch to Nettles is low, ball one. Nettles, a left-hand batter. Swing and a foul back. It's 1-1. Binoculars, we could keep you aware of what the temperature is. There's a big sign way out over the left field fence. There's a drive down the left field line, but it's curving foul. One hop against the left field fence. It's a ball and 2 strikes on Greg Nettles. 2 out and nobody on. No score here in the top of the second inning. On a very, very cold night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. No flurries this afternoon. Fastball just outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Sobel had beaten the Yankees 3 straight times before the Yankees finally got to him. The 2-2 pitch is fouled back upstairs and out of play. Well, I heard Merle Harmon's voice back there on a radio. Merle does the play-by-play of the Milwaukee Brewer games here. Curve swing and a miss, strike 3. Nettles is struck out on a high curveball. So 2 tickets go to John Kovacs of Norwalk, Connecticut. And for the Yankees, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. And in the middle of the second inning, it's the Yankees nothing, the Brewers nothing.
Frank Robinson will be named the playing manager of the Cleveland Indians Thursday, thereby becoming the first black manager in Major League Baseball history. Robinson's salary will remain at its present $173,000 a year level, automatically making him the highest paid manager in the history of baseball. The 40-year-old Robinson, obtained on waivers from the California Angels 2.5 weeks ago, will continue serving the Indians as a designated hitter as well as manager next year. Some baseball people are completely opposed to playing managers in the majors on the theory that any manager has more than enough to do without having to worry about playing. But the Indians don't feel that way at all. They remember the last man ever to lead them to a world championship was Lou Boudreau back in 1948, and he was a playing manager. As a matter of fact, Boudreau played 152 games for the Indians that year, all but one of them at shortstop, and he finished second only to Ted Williams in batting with a .355 average. Robinson already has managed San Cruz in the Puerto Rican League 5 years, and the man who originally signed him for that job, San Cruz club owner President Hiram Suivas, has no doubts whatsoever that Robinson will do a good job as a Major League manager. So Frank Robinson, apparently to become the first black manager in Major League Baseball. Baltimore manager Earl Weaver preceded Robinson as San Cruz's manager. He recommended him as the manager to Suivas.
2 runs in the very first inning against Houston batting at the bottom of the first. Cardinals lead Montreal 1-0 at the end of 4. And Atlanta leads Cincinnati 4-0 at the end of 5. Johnny Briggs will lead it off. He swings, bounces one, he's short. Big hop to Mason. Jim throw to Chambliss and 1 pitch and 1 out. That took a nice hop to the shortstop. Little hot chalk. Is this hot chalk? Hot chalk. Thank you. And they know how to keep you warm in Milwaukee. Pittsburgh leading the Cubs 3-1 at the end of 5. The batter up there now is Dave May, the designated hitter. May takes a curve low, ball 1. Briggs was batting .254. As May swings and misses, strike 1. Dave May batting .228, an off year for Davey, that's for sure. Left-hand batter. bottom of the second inning. Medich gets the sign from Mustard. Slow curve hit deep to right center field. Elliot Medich to his left. Right on the goal line, makes the catch. And there are two away. There's Frank Messer say the 3-yard line. His momentum carried him back in the end zone for a safety. That's one of the rules of football. 2 men are out. And the batter now, Bob Coluccio. Coluccio batting .220. Has 6 homers and 30 runs batted in. Yankees play him straight away. He's got good power and good speed. Medich delivers is low. Scooped up by Munson, ball 1. The 1-0 delivery is fouled over towards the Yankee dugout. 1-1. Each team with 1 base hit in the ball game. Night like this, you don't expect much scoring. Tough to swing that bat. Almost all the hitters using 2 golf clubs. There's a check swing line drive to right field. Pinella digging. Can't get it. Has to play it on 1 hop. Coluccio trying for 2. There's a throw to second, and he's safe. Oh, what a throw. I want to tell you something about that play. Russ Getz had that play called a little too soon. He might have been safe, but he really called him safe before the play was completed. A beautiful play by Pinella. As Coluccio trying to check his swing, hit a line drive down the line. Pinella raced over, grabbed it, turned around, threw a strike to Nathan. And as Coluccio was fighting head first, Jim put a quick tag on him. But it appeared that Russ Getz had made up his mind before the play was even completed. So Coluccio is at second with 2 out in the batter. Now Tim Johnson, the shortstop. Johnson batting at .245. 2 out, no score. Pitch by Medich is a curve over the outside corner, strike 1 call. Johnson, a left-hand batter. Young Robin Yount, who has such a great year going, was injured. There's a ground ball to first. Chambliss up with it. He'll make the play unassisted. And that's all for Johnson and the Brewers in the bottom of the second. No runs are hit, no errors, a man left. At the end of 2, it's the Yankees nothing and the Brewers nothing.
The New York Mets announced Tuesday the resignation of General Manager Bob Sheffing and his replacement by the club's Director of Minor League Operations, Joe McDonald. Sheffing will remain with the Mets as a troubleshooter and consultant, operating out of his Scottsdale, Arizona home. In making the announcement, M. Donald Grant, the chairman of the board, said the 61-year-old Sheffing originally had accepted the general managership with the understanding it would be for 3 or 4 years, but the board persuaded him to continue for a 5th season. The 45-year-old McDonald, who joined the Mets upon their inception in 1962 as the club's petition, has been recommended by Sheffing as his successor.
So again, we tell you that very important score this afternoon. The Tigers, with a run in the ninth, defeated Baltimore with a run in the ninth, defeated the Tigers 7-6. I wish it were the other way around. Right now, we'll pause for station identification. This is the New York Yankee Baseball Network.
American Forces Radio and Television Service.
For the Yankees here in the top of the third, there's no score. Sandy hitting .265. Switch hitter batting right against Coble, and a ground ball in the hole, base hit left field. Sandy drilled one between Money and Johnson, and is on it for the single. So for the second inning out of 3, the Yankees had their leadoff man on. Roy White opened the ball game with a single and stole second, but he died there. Jim Mason. Jim batting .253 on the year. George Scott holds the bag against Alomar. Money is way in at third base. Here's the stretch by Coble. The pitch to Mason is a swing and a fly ball down the left field line. Briggs is there, though, playing him perfectly. Has it in fair territory, and Alomar has to come back. I said it shows when you're an experienced outfielder. I'd say almost 8 times out of 10 that would have been a base hit if the left fielder were not alert and playing the left-hand hitting Mason over that way. That ball was not far from the foul line. That'll bring up Roy White, who was single to left, as we told you, and stole a base. His 15th of the year. Kevin Coble sets again. There's a little pop-up coming back just to our right and below it. And hits the window of the television booth next to it. First, and he has the time, but he's out. And you could see that from here. He had him picked off, I tell you. That's one advantage of broadcasting from here. A great move by Kevin Coble and a quick tag by George Scott. And they tagged Sandy before he could get his hand on the bag. From 1 to 3, Coble picked him off. A pretty move. We told you he's got almost a balk move. And unless you guess and guess right off him, you can't steal the base. So now there are 2 out and nobody on. Pitch to Roy White is outside. 1-1. Kevin Coble seems to save his best games for the Yankees. Fastball, ground ball in the hole, and through a base hit to right field. Son of a gun, that always happens when a guy gets picked off or caught stealing, the next guy up gets a base hit. But Roy White is 2 for 2, a single to left and a single to right. Roy now has 7 base hits in his last 12 at bats. And that's stroking a mighty hot bat. Elliot Maddox now. Elliot fly deep to right center field his first time up. No score on the top of the third. Pitch to Maddox is a strike on the outside corner. Elliot is just about due to stroke one down his alley, which is between third and short. The kick and the pitch is inside. 1-1. And now time has been called because of rain at Pittsburgh. But it looks like they have completed 5 innings with Pittsburgh leading 3-1. So even if that's rained out, it'll be a regular game. There's a drive to right center, but Lescano, having trouble with the lights, makes the catch. Again, Maddox hit the ball on the nose. But the right fielder made the play. So for the Yankees, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and a man left. And now in the middle of the third, it's the Yankees nothing and the Brewers nothing.
World heavyweight champion George Foreman is all set to defend his title against Muhammad Ali and Zaire October 30th, and his cut eye is fully healed according to Zaire fight officials. A delegate of the World Boxing Council in charge of arrangements played to a news conference a tape recording of Foreman saying he is ready for the fight. The bout was postponed from its scheduled date of September 24th when Foreman suffered a cut to his right eyebrow in sparring. The newsmen were shown photographs of Foreman's eye, which is now fully healed. The officials say that they can also assure newsmen that the news dispatches from Zaire will not be censored, and there's some word during the build-up for the postponed fight. Representatives of the fight promoters, Video Techniques, met to iron out problems involved in the month's postponement. The problem being, of course, that a lot of arenas that were scheduled for closed-circuit television have other commitments on the day of the rescheduled fight, so they have to work some things out and get squared away on that.
Okay, we get ready to go in the bottom of the third of a scoreless ball game. And it'll be Pedro Garcia, John Money, and Sixto Lescano. I can't help but every time I say Sixto, I think of Sixto Escobar. He was quite a fighter from Puerto Rico. As a matter of fact, they named the ball field after him down there. He was a fighter in my day. batting just .200. But he has 12 homers and 54 runs batted. And a right-hand batter, very exciting ball player, takes a curve inside ball one. Doc Medich dueling Kevin Coble. Fastball hit deep to left foot foul. He really got around on that one. Atlanta still leading Cincinnati 4-0 at the end of 4. Cardinals leading Montreal 1-0 at the end of 5 now. Oh, that hit Garcia off the hand. It sounded like it hit his helmet or his bat, but it hit him right off the hand, and Garcia, on a night like this, that's got to really hurt. A fastball in on him, and I tell you, when it hit him off the hand, it sounded like it had hit the bat. And now Del Crandall's going over, and man, I tell you, if it hit him where I think it did, no way he can continue playing or grip that bat. Good thing he had that golf glove on. He has the golf glove on both hands. Takes it off now, shows it to Del Crandall, and looks like right now he's going to hang in there. Yes, he's going to stay in the ball game. All right, we told you when this game started the temperature was 39. We know it's going down, and it's supposed to get in the 20s before this ball game is over, which is not an exciting night for the ball players to be running around, hitting and throwing. All right, Don Money struck out his first time up. Garcia, good base runner, leading away. Stretched by Medich. And the pitch is fouled, and Munson's coming back. I don't believe he has room. Yes, he does, and makes a one-hand catch, fires to first base, but Garcia gets back with Alomar sneaking in back of him. Good play by Munson as the wind brought that back, and he was sliding against the railing when he one-handed the ball. Excellent play by Thurman Munson. Big out. Get the dangerous Don Money out of there. Now it brings up Sixto Lezcano, who singled to right field and stole a base in the first inning. So one man out. 0-0 ball game in the bottom of the third. Chambliss holding the bag against Garcia. Stretched by Medich. And the pitch is low and outside ball one. Doc walks back now. Takes his glove off. Rubs up the ball. One is the Dodgers 2 and Houston 0. So do Pittsburgh, leading the Cubs 3-1 at the end of 5. That game is being delayed because of rain. There goes Garcia. The ball is swung at, missed. Munson's throw, one hop to Mason, and they got him. Oh, maybe that's the way Thurman ought to throw with that bad arm. He threw a one-hopper that bounced over about 10 feet in back of the mound and skidded on the strike to Mason. And Jim put an easy tag on the speedy Garcia. They're a two-way, and the batter still Sixto Lezcano with a count of 1 ball, 1 strike on him. I tell you, on that artificial turf, that wouldn't be a bad way for catchers to throw. The ball really skips off that. Bouncer to third base. Nettles has it on 1 hop. Fires to first in time, and that kid can get down the line. So, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left, and now at the end of 3 full innings, it's the Yankees 0 and the Brewers 0.
Billy Cunningham, the former Philadelphia 76ers star forward, who is the subject of an extensive legal battle between the Sixers and the Carolina Cougars, joined the Philadelphia team after boarding the 76ers bus to Binghamton, New York. Cunningham will be with the 76ers for the game Tuesday night against the New York Nets, a move which signals his attempt to end the court battle. He joins the team for the first time in 2 years after playing 2 seasons with the Cougars of the ABA. Cunningham previously played 7 seasons with the 76ers, averaging just over 21 points a game. The court dispute began when a court ruled his ABA contract had precedence The agreement with the Cougars, who have since moved to North Carolina and become the St. Louis Spirits, expires Monday. And the 76ers have maintained their old contract with Cunningham, which has not expired, binds him to that team. The ABA contract, however, contains an option clause under which St. Louis could seek to keep Cunningham by court action. So, that's about the latest as far as Billy Cunningham is concerned.
Well, they're all ready to go. That is everybody but me. Frank Messer comes in to take over the next 3 innings on this very, very cold and the first day of snow here in Milwaukee. Frank Messer.
Okay, Scooter, and Alex Johnson up there takes the first pitch inside for a ball. Yeah, I talked about the snow and everything out here, Scooter, going down to 22 tonight. You tell folks there was a full moon to go with it?
I did.
Is that a harvest moon?
It is. You're right.
Ball 2 balls and no strikes.
I remember when I was on the farm. We used to harvest the wheat and the corn. This is just about the time we do it.
Alex Johnson swings and fouls one back in the seat. 2 balls and a strike on the Yankees' designated hitter, Alex Johnson. Fastball comes in high from Coble. I'm sure, Bill, you told the folks we're out at right field.
I did, Frank. Well, things I forgot. Those 2 things that were out in right field. I was going to get down to 20 minutes.
Johnson fouls one away on the right side, just past the front of our booth. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Alex. He hits this one back up the middle, but right at the second baseman. Garcia has it, throws him out, and there's one away. And now Lou Piniella, Yankee cleanup hitter and right fielder tonight, replacing Bobby Mercer, injured, unable to play due to a jammed finger. Piniella was called out on strike in the first inning. Piniella will strike out, but he's not often called out on strikes. Pretty good eye for the strike zone. Right-hand hitter, swings on the first one, fouls it back. Picked off by one of the cameramen down there behind home plate, it looks like. Thurman Munson is on deck. No score in this ball game. The Yankees must win it. Pitch is high and away, bounces off the mitt of the catcher, Darrell Porter. Absolute must. The Orioles have clinched a tie. The Yankees must win this. Hope Baltimore loses tomorrow afternoon, and the Yankees must then win tomorrow. This pitch is looped out into shallow center field, going back for those the second baseman, and Garcia drops it. Garcia had it and dropped it out in shallow right center. And Piniella is on. That'll be an error charge to Pedro Garcia, the second baseman. The Yankees got a break. Thurman Munson coming up. Left-hander Kevin Coble has a good move to first base. He picked Alomar off in the third inning. Scott is holding the inside corner on Lou Piniella. Munson flied to left his first trip. The kick and the pitch to him. Fouled away over on the first base side. 2 balls and 1 strike. Piniella takes a 2-step lead off first base. Coble looks over at him and throws over. Piniella steps back. The shortstop, Tim Johnson, and the second baseman, Pedro Garcia, set up in double play depth. Money at third, in even with the bag. Coble comes set, left-hander deals high. And the catcher, Porter, had to leap up for that one. He almost threw it away for a wild pitch. Porter went high to pull it in. 1 ball and 1 strike. One out, Pinella. Again, a two-step lead at first base. Coble delivers the plate. A fastball is inside. 2 balls and a strike now on Thurman Munson. The stretch by the young left-hander. And the pitch. Fastball is lined out toward right center field. Running hard for it is Toscano. He can't get it. The ball is in between for an extra base hit. And Pinella falls down between second and third and has to stop at third. Lou Pinella scrambling, but fell down between second and third. He crawled a couple of steps, got up, but then had to stop at third base. Munson has a 2-base hit up the alley in right center. And the Yankees, with 1 out, have runners at second and third. At the mound as the shortstop Johnson came in. George Scott went over to talk to Kevin Coble. And the batter now is Chris Chambliss with runners at second and third and 1 out. Chambliss with a chance to put the Yankees on the board. Now an appeal play back at second base. Safe. They made an appeal play at second base on Pinella rounding the bag. But in the opinion of umpire Marty Springstead, who called it, Pinella had touched the bag. And now the pitch to Chambliss. Fouled away on the third base side. Goes into the upper deck. Bounces back downstairs. No balls and a strike. The infield play is back. So the Brewers will try to keep out of a big inning, give up a run if they have to. There's another foul upstairs in the same place on the third base side. Not many people here tonight. I'd say probably a whole lot of them are Yankee fans over there behind the Yankee third base dugout. Coble ready to pitch, 0-2. And he struck him out. Chambliss swings and misses. There are 2 down. That is the third strikeout for Kevin Coble. Coble will celebrate his 21st birthday tomorrow. Young man from Buffalo, New York. He should be used to this kind of weather because it does get cold up there. Greg Nettles steps in. He struck out his first time up, and he takes a low fastball, ball 1. Runners at second and third, 2 down. Infield back and around to the first base side on Greg Nettles. Next pitch, popped up. Down the first base line. George Scott is after it. Straddling the line. Now back in fair ground. He makes the catch to the other side. So this Yankee threat goes by the board. No runs, 1 hit. There was an error and 2 men are left. At the end of 3 1/2, the score. The Yankees nothing and Milwaukee nothing.
Taking a look at the scoreboard, Baltimore defeated Detroit 7-6 earlier in the day. 7 runs, 9 hits, and an error for Baltimore. 6 runs, 12 hits, and an error for Detroit. Jackson got the win in relief of Jim Palmer. Jackson is now 6-4. Hiller, the loss. Coleman walked, and then Hiller, the third pitcher of the game for Detroit. Hiller drops to 17-14. Freehan hit his 17th and 18th home run for Detroit. A solo shot in the 4th and a solo blast in the 6th. Coggins hit his 4th for Baltimore with 1 on in the 5th. And Northrup hit his 12th home run of the season with 1 on in the 6th for the Orioles as he comes through with a 2-run blast against his former teammate. Minnesota shut out Texas 6-0 on a 2-hitter by Goltz. His record is now 10-10. So quite a pitching job in that ball game between Texas and Minnesota. Dave Goltz coming through with a 2-hit shutout. Boston leads Cleveland 6-4 after 6. Klein against Barr. Rice hit his first home run for Boston with none on in the 4th inning. Kansas City and Chicago, no score after 1. Bird against Cott. Later on the West Coast, Oakland is at California. Jim Hunter trying for his 26th win of the season against Frank Tanana, who is 13-19. Hunter is 25-12. St. Louis and Montreal, an important game for the Cardinals, and it's a 1-1 tie after 6. Gibson against Torres. Smith hit his 23rd home run for St. Louis with none on in the 4th. Chicago and Pittsburgh have completed 4.5 at Pittsburgh, and the Pirates are leading 3-1. Now we understand that St. Louis has scored in the top half of the 7th, so St. Louis leading Montreal 2-1.
Right here, there's no scores. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Leadoff batter is George Scott. Fly to right field his first time up against Medich. Doc rocks and fires. Fastball is ripped out of third base, and right through. Greg Nettles on into left field. Roy White up with it, throws it into second base. Nettles down the third baseline. And we'll wait for the official score to make a ruling. It's a base hit. A base hit for Scott. So now the Brewers have the leadoff man on. And Darrell Porter, the catcher, comes up. Left-hand hitter. Porter grounded out to second baseman Sandy Alomar's first trip. First pitch to him, high and outside, ball 1. Medich rocks and deals. The fastball is lined out into center field, base hit. Elliott Maddox fields the ball, throws it back in. The Brewers have runners at first and second with nobody out. Number 4 for Milwaukee. No score, and the Brewers have their first real big threat. Runners at first and second, nobody out. The batter is Johnny Briggs, the left fielder. Briggs batted out. The Mason at shortstop his first time up. And again, the Yankee infield plays the left-hand hitter to pull. Medich comes set, and the pitch taken outside, ball 1. Give Briggs the left field corner as White shades toward the gap. Maddox comes over toward right, and Fernando guards the right field corner. Maddox fires a fastball to steal back foul, and the count even 1-1. Johnny Briggs has hit 8 triples this year, the message board says, to lead the Brewers in that department. Good enough year, 254, 17 homers, 73 runs batted in. Scott leads away at second, Porter up first. Medich in his first really big jam of the ball game. Hides the ball behind the hip, now brings the hands together. And the pitch to Briggs. Swung on and missed. Strike 2, ball and 2 strikes. Off, Briggs stepped out. Now both men are ready to go. The runners edge away again from first and second. And the pitch from Doc. Inside. Backs him off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Medich looking into Munson. Set just below the belt, and the pitch. Swung on, in on the ground to Alomar. He's up, shovels to Mason out at second, back to first, double play. Yankees turn over 2, Scott goes to third, but the Yankees turn over the double play. Alomar to Mason, to Chambliss, 4-6-3. Taylor made double play ball. And now the designated hitter, Dave May. He flies to center his first trip. Runner at third, 2 out. Again, the infield plays the hitter to pull. Alomar comes back to the edge of the grass and midway between second and first. The pitch to May. Left-hand hitter is over, strike 1. Shot at third, 2 out. No score in this ball game. Medich, full windup now, and the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 2. kicks and offers. Pitch is hit on the ground to the right side. Chambliss has it. Throws to Medich covering in time. And Doc has pitched himself out of his first big jam in this ball game. For the Brewers, no runs, 2 hits. There were no Yankee errors, and 1 man is left on. At the end of 4, it's the Yankees nothing and Milwaukee Brewers nothing. As we go to the 5th inning here at Milwaukee's County Stadium, and the first pitch to him is hit through the left side base hit. He flashed that one right by the third baseman, Don Money. So Alomar comes up with his second hit of the ball game. Both of them through the left side of the infield. Both Money plays Alomar in to protect against the bunt, and Sandy has ripped 2 balls by him. So the leadoff man is on, and Jim Mason steps in. In the 3rd inning, when Alomar singled to lead it off, Mason lined out to left field on the first pitch. Money is in on the grass. There's the set by Kevin Coble. Now Mason squares to bunt and takes a fastball inside, ball 1. No score here in the top of the 5th inning. The set by Coble, left-hander's pitch. It is taken over for a strike. And the count evens 1-1. Mason trying to sacrifice Alomar to second base as a 1-ball, 1-strike count now. Coble offers a fastball. It's butted off the first base line, foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mason talking to plate umpire Bill Haller about something. Money Springstead umpiring at first base. Russ gets at second. Don Deckinger at third. The stretch by Coble. And the pitch. Taken high as Mason wanted to swing away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2 pitch coming. Hit on the ground toward the second baseline. Garcia's up, fires to second out there on the 4th. No throwback to first. Pedro Garcia fired the ball to Tim Johnson as they got the 4th on Alomar, 4-6. No throwback to first. So Mason is on with 1 gone. And the top of the order coming up. That means Roy White. White has 2 for 2. The Yankees have 5 hits in the game. 2 singles by White, 2 singles by Alomar, and a double by Thurman Munson. On Munson's double, Lou Piniella fell between second and third and did not score. Here's the pitch. Roy takes it high, ball 1. And we're viewing this game from down the right field line here because of the construction at Milwaukee's County Stadium. We do the best we can on the tight pitches and where they are. This one is outside, and the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes on Roy White. A frigid night here in Milwaukee. The stretch by Global Coble and his pitch. High and inside, ball 3. Jim Mason turns around, looks at the scoreboard. And the pitch. Ball 4. Blown outside, and White is on. So Roy White is a base runner for the 3rd time. That's the first walk by Coble. Mason at second, White at first. 1 out, and the batter is Elliot Maddox. Maddox twice has flied out to right field. His infield to see who will be covering second base on a comebacker to him. The set and the pitch to Maddox. Foul straight back. No balls and 1 strike. And the next pitch to him. He takes it low. 1 ball, 1 strike. score in this game. We're in the top half of the fifth inning. Mason at second, White at first. The infield backed off, and the pitch to Maddox, high and inside. 2 balls and a strike. Noble having a little trouble right now finding the plate. And Alex Johnson is waiting on deck. Pitch to Maddox, fouled outside of first. Coming over toward the seats, and it's out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Maddox. Runners at first and second, 1 away. Noble comes set, kicks and deals, and Maddox takes an inside pitch. Full count now, 3-2. And the runners look over to Dick Hauser to see if they'll be running on 3-2 with 1 out. We'll soon know. They go, and the pitch is fouled away again toward the seats out first. Elliott Maddox. Has to get a piece of that ball. And the 3-2 again, the runners go, and he hits it in the air to center field. Moving for Coluccio and straightaway center. He's under it, makes the catch, and the runners retreat as the throw comes in. So Maddox flies to center, 2 down, and out up to Alex Johnson. Johnson is flied out to right and grounded out to second base. And at the end of 7 innings, Atlanta now leads Cincinnati 6-1. By Coble, and the pitch to Johnson. Alex hits a fly ball down the right field line, coming over for Lozcano, and he makes the catch in fair territory to retire the side. So the Yankees threaten but do not score. No runs, 1 hit. There were no errors and 2 men left. And in the middle of the 5th inning, the score is the Yankees nothing and the Brewers nothing.
Steelers running back Franco Harris probably will miss Pittsburgh's upcoming game against the Houston Oilers because of a sprained ankle suffered in the Steelers' 17-0 loss to the Oakland Raiders. However, a team spokesman says starting wide receiver Frank Lewis and Ron Shanklin, who missed the Oakland game because of injuries, should be ready to play in the game at Houston on Sunday. Safety Mike Wagner, who missed more than half the Oakland game because of a bruised foot, also is expected to be back in the lineup. Harris injured his left ankle in the Steelers' first offensive series last Sunday and was sidelined the rest of the game. He was limping noticeably Tuesday when the players resumed practice after a day off. If Harris is unable to play, he'll be replaced in the lineup by a veteran running back, Frenchie Fuqua. Reserve linebacker Ed Bradley, an outstanding performer on the Steelers' specialty teams, also will be sidelined for the 2nd straight game because of a torn muscle in his left foot. It was not known when he might be able to return to action. Okay, let's get back to the action now at County Stadium, Milwaukee.
Well, I don't know whether Bill gave you any details on that ball game won by the Orioles this afternoon or not. Andy Etchebarren had the game-winning hit, a fluke double, we're told, at the top of the 9th inning. The Tigers had a 3-0 lead at one point, but then 2-run homers by Rich Coggins and Jim Northrup gave the Orioles a 4-3 lead. Bill Freehan hit his 2nd home run of the ball game for the Tigers to tie the score 4-4. Each team scored twice in the 8th inning before Etchebarren's game winner in the 9th off loser John Hiller. Grant Jackson got the win, incidentally, in that 8th inning. There were 2 out, and Joe Coleman walked the bases loaded. And Bill pitched to Tommy Davis, who singled to drive in the 2 Oriole runs. Coluccio, the batter here, the center fielder takes a strike. Looked like a slider from Doc Medich, but from this angle, it's sort of hard to tell. I'm told Coleman walked 10 men in the ball game today. Medich winds and fires. Pitch is bunted down the first base line. Chasing it, Munson picks up, throws. He's out, close play. Good play by Munson. I'll tell you on that when he bunted it just inside the line at first. Thurman Munson fired it on to Chris Chambliss just in time to get Coluccio. Foot race between Munson and the ball. And there's one out. Tim Johnson will step in. Left-hand hitter grounded out to Chambliss unassisted his first time up. No score in this game. Yankees fighting for their very life. The windup and the pitch. Foul back. If the Yankees don't win this ball game, they can put out the fire and call in the dogs. Because the hunt will be over. If they win it, they're still alive. Medich rocks over the rubber and his pitch to Johnson. Fastball is high. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the next pitch, fouled away. One thing about tomorrow, if the Yankees win this one tonight, tomorrow the Orioles game should be over by the time the Yankees start. They play at 1:30 New York time in Detroit. And let's see, the Yankee game here would be at 4:30 New York time. We'll be on the air tomorrow at 4:25 regardless. Here's the pitch, high and outside. One out, nobody on. No score. Medich into the windup, and his next pitch to Johnson. Swung on and fouled back in the upper deck again. Matt Dobson is due to pitch tomorrow for the Yankees. We'll be on the air, don't forget now, at 4:25 New York time. It has been changed from a night game to an afternoon game, a late afternoon game. 4:25 broadcast time tomorrow. Medich winds and deals, pitches fouled upstairs again in that same spot. Dobson with a record of 18-15 tomorrow for the Yankees. Jim Colborn, who has won 10 and lost 12, expected to pitch for Milwaukee. Medich rips it in, and it's high outside. Throw 3-2 full count. Another one back upstairs in the upper deck. So the left-hand hitting Tim Johnson hanging tough against Doc Medich. Doc looks in at Munson. And the 3-2 pitch. Fastball struck him out. Doc Medich, strikeout number 2. He fired a fastball by Tim Johnson. 2 out, nobody on, and Pedro Garcia will step in. Garcia was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning, and then Munson threw him out stealing. Munson threw the ball on 1 hop to Jim Mason covering. Mason flagged it down, put the tag on the sliding runner coming into second. Right-hand hitter and the pitch. Fouled up in the air behind the plate. Munson giving chase. The ball will be back in the seats and out of play. Looking down there at that cup of water Rizzuto put out, do I see a thin skim of ice forming on the top? No. Check swing foul. Bounces off the plate and back behind. No balls and 2 strikes. On Pedro Garcia, the second baseman. Right-hand batter. Medich takes time to rub up a new baseball. Goes for the rosin, still rubbing on it. Windup and the 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. in. Garcia argues with the plate umpire Haller, and Medich has his third strikeout. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. At the end of 5 innings, the score: the New York Yankees nothing and the Milwaukee Brewers nothing.
Pinch hitter Andy Etchebarren placed a run-scoring double squarely on the left field foul line with 1 out in the 9th inning to snap a 6-6 tie Tuesday and enable the Baltimore Orioles to clinch at least a tie for the American League East Division title with a 7-6 victory over the Tigers. The victory moved the Orioles a game and a half ahead of the second-place Yankees. Baltimore has 1 game remaining on its regular season schedule. That's Wednesday at Detroit, while the Yankees have games Tuesday night and Wednesday at Milwaukee, and they need to win them both, while Baltimore should lose Wednesday to even gain a tie for the title and force a playoff game Thursday at Shea Stadium. You know, that's an interesting point, too, that shot down the left field foul line. That's why in Major League Baseball fields, the foul lines are made out of either wood or now the newer ballparks are using a kind of a rubberized material for the foul line. The reason, of course, is you play sandlot baseball and places like that would use chalk. There's a tendency for that chalk to get messed around a bit, and the ball that's hit down there can kick up chalk. That would look like it was fair, but it actually could be 3 or 4 inches foul. And try explaining that to a manager who sees chalk kicked up as the same as foul. So that's why they do that now. They have crushed brick around there and then they use that white rubber, and that makes it a clear shot for the umpire that has to call that kind of a hit.
Well, it was announced here in Milwaukee tonight that Del Crandall has been rehired to manage the Milwaukee Brewers for the 1975 season. And 3 of his coaches also rehired: batting instructor Harvey Keene, third base coach Joe Nozick, and first base coach Jim Walton. And coming up from the minor leagues to become pitching coach is Ken McBride. McBride played with the White Sox and the California Angels. Made the American League All-Star team in 1963. He's been in the Milwaukee organization for 2 years as a minor league instructor. And he also managed the Shreveport club for the Brewers. Lou Piniella steps in to lead off the 6th inning for the Yankees. The windup by Coble, the pitch. Piniella takes a low fastball, ball 1. Piniella was called out on strikes in the first inning. Reached on an error by Garcia, who dropped his fly ball in the 4th inning. Wind up, the next pitch coming. Swung on and fouled back. On the scoreboard, Montreal has scored 2 runs in the bottom half of the 8th inning. That was a home run by Jorgensen with a man on, his 11th home run of the year. And Montreal leads St. Louis 3-2 at the end of 8. The Pirates did not score as play was resumed in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Pittsburgh leads Chicago 3-2 at the end of 6. The rain has stopped and play has been resumed in Pittsburgh. 1-1 pitch to Piniella. High. The next pitch coming. High again. Ball 3-1. Atlanta leads Cincinnati 6-1 at the end of 7. Coble working quickly, deals right down the middle, 3-2. The Dodgers lead Houston 3-0 at the end of 3 as we watch the National League pennant races for you. Coble winds, and here's his pitch. Piniella hits it to the shortstop. Johnson throws on to first base in time. Pinella's out, 1 down. I believe if the Dodgers win and Cincinnati loses, that wraps it up for the Dodgers, right, Bill? It is 1 out. 7 months in the batter. Doubled in the 4th inning. Might have scored a run, but Piniella fell between 2nd and 3rd and had to stop at 3rd base. And then Chandler struck out and Nettles popped up, and the Yankees missed out on their biggest scoring opportunity in the ball game. Wind up the pitch to Munson. Strike over the outside part of the plate. Infield backs off deep on Munson. Will fanned out. And the next pitch to him. He swings and looks it out into shallow right field, and that's going to be in for the base hit. Loscano fields the ball, throws to first base. Munson gets back to the bag, and the Yankees, with one out, have a runner at first. Base hit number 6 for the Yankees, the second for Munson. And the batter will be Chris Chambliss, who has grounded out to first and struck out. Greg Nettles moves on deck. No score here in the 6th inning. Scott holding Munson on. Coble kicks and deals the plate. High to Chambliss. Ball 1. Munson cannot take too big a lead at first base. Coble has an excellent move over there. In fact, he picked Alomar off in the 3rd inning. Caught Alomar leaning towards second. Pitch to Chambliss, hit on the ground to the second baseman Garcia. He's up, goes to Johnson out at second, no throw to first. Thurman Munson went in hard at second base, so they settle for the 4th out, 4-6 on Munson. Chambliss is on, and the batter, Greg Nettles. Nettles has struck out and popped up. The on-deck circle comes Sandy Alomar. Coble off the set position, turns it loose, and a swing and a miss by Nettles, strike 1. Kevin Coble has won but 6 games all year, but 3 of those were against the Yankees. He has a record of 6-14. He comes into the belt, turns it loose, high and inside. 1-1 on Nettles. Glances over at first base, then looks down for his sign from Darrell Porter. And he throws to first. Chambliss is back. Left-hander comes set, and the pitch to Nettles. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Nettles. Kevin Coble has done his best pitching of the year against the Yankees. Steps out. Chambliss comes back to the bag, and time is called. Now we're ready. And the 1-2 pitch to Nettles. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. No score in this ball game. Pitcher's duel between Kevin Coble and Doc Medich. Right now, a 2-2 pitch to Nettles. Down the right field line, and it is pulled foul. Nettles pulled it right down the line, pulled it just too much, back in the seats for a foul ball. They've completed 8 innings in Atlanta. The Braves lead the Reds 7-1. Leads away first, 2 out. And a 2-2 pitch to Nettles. Hit on the ground to the first baseman, Scott. He's got it, makes the 4th throw to second base. To Johnson covering. Chambliss is out, and so the Yankees. George Scott going very wide towards second to field that ball. And that retires the Yankees here in the top half of the 6th inning. No runs, a base hit. There were no errors, and 1 man is left on. In the middle of the 6th, the score. The Yankees nothing, and the Brewers nothing.
Okay, let's take a look at what's going on in those pennant races. We have some good news and some bad news. If you're a Dodger fan, we've got some good news. Los Angeles is now leading Houston by the score of 3-0 at the end of 3 innings of play at the Astrodome in Houston. And now we checked that, and it can say that that's after 3.5 innings of play. If you are a Cincinnati Reds fan, we have some bad news. That ball game is now in the top of the ninth inning, and Atlanta is leading Cincinnati by the score of 7-1. The Braves scored 3 in the first, 1 more in the second, 2 more in the seventh, and 1 more in the eighth. So it's 7-1 in favor of Atlanta over Cincinnati. The Reds had better come up with something quick, like about a half a dozen runs at least, or school is out for the Reds in the 1974 season. Kansas City and Chicago are tied 1-1 in the American League after 4. Philadelphia and New York, it's a 2-1 score Philadelphia going into the top of the eighth.
Well, I was talking this afternoon to Joe Durso, covering the Yankees for the New York Times. He told me that he had been informed that the Cleveland Indians were holding a big press conference on Thursday. We presumed to announce their new manager, and we also presume it will be Frank Robinson, although that is not definite. Right here, we go to the bottom half of the sixth inning. Top of the order up for the Milwaukee Brewers, Don Money, Sixto Lezcano, and George Scott. Money is struck out and popped up to Munson. Doc's first pitch, fastball, down low for a ball. Pitch. Popped up. Playable outside of first by Chambliss. He's under it. And he's got it in foul territory. So there's one away here in the bottom half of the sixth of the scoreless ball game. And Sixto Lezcano is the batter. Lezcano singled in the first inning. Grounded out in the third. Montreal. Montreal 3, St. Louis 2. Final score. Murray the winner, Gibson the loser. Ground ball is hit to Alomar. He's got it going to his left, spins and throws to Chambliss in time to get Lezcano 2 out. That ball game took an hour and 39 minutes to play. Montreal 3 runs, 7 hits. St. Louis 2 runs, 8 hits. Murray the winner, 1-1. Bob Gibson the loser, 11 and 13. George Scott steps in with 2 outs, nobody on. Scott is fly to right and single to left. Right-hand hitter. Leads the Brewers at RBIs. Gets the ball on the ground to Alomar. The second baseman has it. Throws to first. Chambliss is pulled off the bag, but he gets back and Scott is out. Chambliss was pulled off by the throw, but he scrambled back in time, and the Brewers are out 1-2-3. So at the end of 6 innings of play, the score, Brewers nothing and the Yankees nothing.
Okay, so the Montreal Expos knocking off the Cardinals 3-2, so that means that the Pittsburgh Pirates are now in the driver's seat as far as the National League East is concerned. The teams have 1 more game each. Still a good situation, obviously, for the Pirates. That game has been resumed. It was stopped because of rain after 4.5 at Pittsburgh, and fortunately for the Pirates, that was the minimum amount of time needed to make that game official. But the rain has stopped, and they're back to action there. Of course, the artificial turf helps out. Detroit pitching for Chicago, Royce, and now Hernandez pitching for the Pirates. And that's about it. Still nothing in yet on that Atlanta-Cincinnati game, with Cincinnati hitting in the top half of the ninth inning. We just have a final coming in now. You hear that little tick in the background. That's giving us what you get right now. So when you hear it going, you know something's happening. Boston over to Cleveland by the score of 7-4. 7 runs, 13 hits, no errors for Boston. 4 runs, 7 hits, and no errors for Cleveland. Barr got the win. His first major league victory. He's 1-0. Klein, the loser, his record 6-9. And a crowd of 97-84 to watch that game at Fenway Park in Boston. So, that's a look at what we have on the scoreboard.
Ball game through 6 innings. The Yankees no runs, 6 hits. Brewers no runs on 4 hits. Pitchers duel between Doc Medich and Kevin Coble. And as we go to the 7th, ladies and gentlemen, here with the play-by no runs on 4. Alomar bounces one up the middle. Johnson, the shortstop, grabs it. Throws to first base in time. And there's one away. That'll bring in Jim Mason, the Yankee shortstop. He's 0 for 2. Flies to left field, bounces to a fourth out. Mason batting at 250. Left-handed batter. Takes high at the ball. Sox beat Cleveland 7-4. Mason takes low again at 2 balls, no strikes. Barr won it. He's 1-0. Klein lost it. He's 6-9. 2-0 pitch to Mason. Down low, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. They punched Mason in the outfield, blamed straight away in the infield with Don Money, the third baseman, in close. Delivery. Down low, ball 4. Lost him on 4 pitches. So with 1 down here in the 7th, Mason walks, and this is the York Yankee baseball. It's paused for station identification.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
The Yankee batter. He's been up 3 times. He's singled twice, and he's walked. Darrell Porter, the catcher, goes out. He wants to talk Coble. He's still out there. White singled left field back in the first inning, stole a base. His 15th stolen base of the year. He has 1 more than Bobby Mercer. He also singled to right field back in the 3rd. Walked in the 5th. Coble's issued 2 passes to White, and here it's to Jim Mason. Now the set and the pitch. Called strike. Scott holding on Mason at first base. Money even with the bag at 3rd. As Coble sets. And the next pitch. High. Hits the ball on the strike. Lost 14. Half of those wins against the Yankees. High again at 2 balls and a strike on White. He had Mason ducking back toward first base with that move. And now the set. And the 2-1 delivery. Down low in the 3rd. Mason starts towards 2nd but comes back to first base as Porter flips the ball there but not in time. So the count runs 3 balls and a strike on Roy White. 1 out, 1 on here in the top of the 7th. The Yankees and the Brewers, no score. Here's the payoff pitch. The runner's not going. The pitch is hit to 3rd. Money bobbles it, comes up, goes to 2nd for 1, back to 1st, not in time. They will not get the double play, but they get the 4th down at 2nd. 5-4, White on at 1st with a fielder's choice. So they're 2 down now here in the 7th inning, and the batter's Elliott Maddox, the Yankees center fielder. Maddox is 0 for 3 in the ball game. He's skied to the right fielder, Lescano, twice, and he's also flied out to the center fielder, Bob Coluccio. Maddox bats right-handed. White moving off first base. He's checked. And the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air, deep to left center field. Briggs digging after it. There's the track. Still going, and it's up against the wall. White digging around third base. He'll score. Maddox in the second base. Rounding second. He'll go to third base with a stand-up triple. And the Yankees lead 1-0. Center field. It hit the wall, bounced back into center field. White scored easily from first base. And Maddox dug into third base. RBI triple, and the Yankees lead 1-0. For Maddox, that's his 45th run batted into the year. And it's only his second triple of the year. Here's Johnson. He lines one over the first baseman's head, base hit. Maddox scores easily, and Johnson will hold his first. The Yankees now lead 2-0. Those 2 runs with 2 outs. So here's Lou Piniella, the Yankee right fielder. He struck out, got none on an error, and he's bounced to short. So he's over 3. Johnson off first base. The set now by Coble, and the pitch. Swung on, bounced up the middle, base hit. Johnson will have to hold at second base as Coluccio gets the ball in quickly back into the infield. Well, the Yankees now pounding on Kevin Coble. Starts getting up and getting loose for the Milwaukee Brewers. Their bullpen out in right field. And here comes Del Crandall. The left-hander slides right. We also have somebody else getting loose out there, but we can't see them. Well, the Yankees here, after Alomar bounced to short, Mason walked and was forced to second base, so there were 2 outs. White was at first base. Maddox drilled a triple off the wall in left center field, scoring White. Then Alex Johnson ripped one over the head of the first baseman, George Scott, for an RBI single. And Lou Piniella singling up the middle. Yankees runners at first and second. 2 outs. They lead 2-0 here in the 7th inning. Yankees missed a golden opportunity back in the 4th inning to take a 1-0 lead after Johnson had bounced to second base. Piniella got on as the second baseman. Garcia bobbled his pop-up. Munson doubled to right center all the way to the wall, but Piniella got his feet tangled up, rounding second base and fell. He had to hold at third base. Shambler struck out, and Nettles popped out. But here in the 7th, Yankees have come through so far with 2 runs on 3 hits against Coble, and that's going to be all for Coble. Looks like a right-hander, Tom Murphy, coming in for the Milwaukee Brewers here in the 7th inning. Murphy has pitched well against the Yankees. So Kevin Coble goes 6 2/3.
Updating the scoreboard now, the Los Angeles Dodgers at the Houston Astrodome, and apparently the news of Cincinnati's loss earlier to Atlanta must have really done something, because the Dodgers scored 2 more runs. Now they lead that game by the score of 5-0 after 5.5 innings of play at the Houston Astrodome. Okay, apparently we have our problem corrected, so let's rejoin the action now somewhere in that ball game at Milwaukee.
Up near the seats and bounces behind. Well, they count now, no balls and 2 strikes on Coluccio. Briggs all the way down to second base, has to come back to first. We're calling this ball game actually from out in right field. The Milwaukee Brewers are redoing their ballpark. They've already added a section down the right side. They're going to add another section on the left side. They had about 20,000 seats to the stadium. Also doing the press boxes. No balls, 2 strikes to count on Coluccio. Briggs off first with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Check swing is fouled off on the first base side. So they count still, no balls and 2 strikes. Walking lead off first. Medich checks, stops at the belt. And the pitch. Swung on it in the air to center field. Should be easy for Maddox. He's under it, and he's got it for out number 3. No runs a hit, and a man left on base. And at the end of 7th, it's Yankees 2, the Milwaukee Brewers 0.
Again, updating the scoreboard, we already told you that St. Louis lost its game to Montreal 3-2, and Pittsburgh had been leading Chicago by the score of 3-1. That was after 4. The Cubs scored one more in the 6th to make it 3-2, and now Chicago has scored 3 runs in the top of the 7th. It's now Chicago 5, Pittsburgh 3, and if it continues like that, well, then that loss to St. Louis won't hurt a whole lot. They'll still be tied for first place. If the Pirates win, they'll have to come back to do it now, but if they win, well, then, of course, they'll both be tied once again. If Pittsburgh wins, and then the Pirates will have a full game lead with 1 game left to play in the National League, so they will have clinched at least a tie for first place. So we'll see what happens. These races are really going down to the wire. The only race that wasn't necessarily that close was in the American League West, as Oakland knocked off Texas, and who believed that Texas would be in contention for anything at the beginning of the season? But boy, the Rangers have been playing some great baseball, but not quite enough, as the A's won the West last week, but since then it's been close everywhere else. In fact, they had taken Los Angeles and Cincinnati, each day. United Press International puts out the pennant races at a glance, and I'll give you the contending teams, how many games they have left, and against whom they're going to be playing. But they took Cincinnati and Los Angeles off of there because it looked like the Dodgers would be in, but after Los Angeles lost a couple, they put them back in there. But now it won't be necessary because the Dodgers have clinched, as Cincinnati lost its game today, so the Dodgers are in the West.
Chambliss takes the strike. And the next delivery. Big curve, ripped to center field. That'll be a base hit. Over quickly is Coluccio. He cuts it off and gets it back in, and Chambliss has to hold at first base with a single. So Chris Chambliss picking up his first base hit in the ballgame as he lines one into center field. Now hit in 22 of his last 26 ball games. He's at first base with no outs. Here's Greg Nettles, the third baseman. Nettles has struck out, popped up, and bounced into a forced out. So he's 0 for 3. Pitch to Nettles. All strike, knee-high fastball right down the middle. Now tonight's attendance 4,155. The next pitch, down low this time, it's 1-1. So the Brewers have drawn close to 952,000 fans with 1 more game left. And a good draw on the road. They've drawn 1,044,000 on the road. Last year they drew 1,087,000 here at County Stadium. Nettles takes outside. It's 2 balls and a strike. Chris Chambliss at first base. Nobody out here in the top half of the 8th inning. The Yankees have a 2-0 lead over the Brewers. An important ball game for the guys in gray. Fastball is inside at 3 balls and a strike. Baltimore's already beaten Detroit 7-6. Baltimore's won about 8 in a row. The Yankees have won 4 in a row. Now the set. And the pitch. Swung on, bounced to second. Past the second baseman off to right field. Chambliss around second base. The throw to third, they've got him there. Lozano, the right fielder, threw a strike to the third baseman, Don Money. And they cut Chambliss down 9-5. Holding at first base is Greg Nettles. Excellent throw by the right fielder, Nettles. Actually, Garcia, the second baseman, looked like he should have had the ball. The foul bounced over his glove. It hit hard. Went out into right field. Lozano came in quickly and threw a 1-hop strike to Don Money. All Money had to do was slap the ball on a sliding Chris Chambliss. So there's 1 out. Nettles at first base. Here standing second baseman. Alomar's 2 for 3 in the ball game. Both singles. Set by Murphy, and the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air to shallow center. Coming on, Coluccio. He's there, and he's got it. 2 down. Moving back to first base, Greg Nettles. Oh, here's the final. In the National League, down in Atlanta. The Atlanta Braves beat the Cincinnati Reds 7-1, therefore, and thereby clinching the National League West title for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Buzz Capra won it. He's 16-8. Jack Billingham lost it. He's 19-11. Final again, Atlanta 7. The Cincinnati Reds 1. Here's a pitch now to Mason. Swung on and fouled off. Cincinnati can win 99 ball games this year, and they'll still be in second place. Dodgers just got up to such a great start over there in the National League West. Last year the Reds caught them. This year they couldn't. Mason takes high. It's the ball and the strike. Greg Nettles at first base, 2 men out here in the 8th inning. The Yankees have a 2-0 lead over the Brewers. Murphy pitching quickly. The next pitch. Swung on and missed. 1-2 on Jim Mason. Mason so far in the ball game has flied to left, bounced into a force out, and he's walked. Yankees have 2 runs on 11 hits. The Brewers no runs on 5. The 1-2 delivery to Mason. Called strike 3, caught him looking. No runs on 2 hits, the man left on base. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Yankees 2, the Milwaukee Brewers 0.
Frank Robinson, the only man to win the Most Valuable Player Award in both the National and American Leagues, will become the first black manager in Major League Baseball history Thursday when he will be named player manager of the Cleveland Indians. Robinson, who will succeed Ken Astromonti as manager, will also retain both his current role of designated hitter and his salary. And for a lot of people who thought that blacks don't belong in Major League Baseball as manager, they're going to get an additional thing to think about, because Robinson's going to become the highest paid manager in the history of baseball, too, because he'll also be carrying his salary as a player of $173,000. The Indians obtained the 39-year-old Robinson on waivers from the California Angels 2.5 weeks ago, and the immediate speculation is that he was purchased not only for his hitting ability, but also to replace Astromonti as manager. The speculation gained credence last week when Astromonti was fired as manager of the Cleveland club.
Well, we're in the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Yankees have a 2-0 lead over the Milwaukee Brewers, who will be down at the bottom part of the Oriole batting. The Milwaukee batting order. Get these teams straight. We've been worrying so much about the Baltimore Orioles. And they have won 7-6 this afternoon over the Tigers. And they're a game and a half ahead of the Yankees. And of course, the Yankees cut that half game off if they hold on to this 7 lead over the Brewers. Bottom of the 8th. Shortstop Tim Johnson in against Doc Medich. And the pitch. Called strike. Medich looking in, rocks back, kicks and deals the next pitch, and it's swung on and popped up. Hudson throws the mask away. He's under, and he's got it for out number 1. Popped up in foul territory, and there's 1 down here in the 8th inning. And the batter now is Bob Hanson. He's batting for Pedro Garcia. Hanson's a left-handed batter. One out, nobody on here in the 8th inning. The Yankees have a 2-0 lead over the Brewers. Medich with the first pitch, and it's high ball. They're playing Hanson to full. He's a big left-handed hitter. It's McClose then. And the next delivery, high again. 2 balls, no strikes. Joe Nazi will be back at third base coach. And Joe Walton, he's coaching first base. The next delivery, called strike. It's 2 balls and a strike on Henson. On deck, third baseman Don Money. Medich rocks back, kicks and deals. Swung on, hit in the air to deep right field. Pinella's after. He's there, and he gets by him all the way to the wall. Maddox retrieves the ball, and digging around second and going into third base is Bob Hansen. Pinella and Maddox were after that ball in right center field. Pinella was there. He thought he heard footsteps. Backed off at the last moment. The ball got under the glove, went all the way to the wall, and by the time Pinella picked it up and got it back in, Hansen was on at third base. And he's got a triple. So Hansen now at third base with only one out. Yankees will keep their infield back. Here's Don Money, the third baseman. Medich rocks back, kicks and deals. The breaking ball that's inside. And the next pitch. Outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Yankees 2, Brewers nothing. Brewers threatening to get on the board here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And the pitch. All strike. It's 2 balls and a strike on Money. Money is struck out, he's fouled out, and he's fouled out again. Well, fouled out once a month, and the other time to the first baseman Chambliss. So he's 0 for 3. The 2-1 delivery. Swung on line, base hit, goal. Base hit center field, and he gets through Maddox, and it'll go all the way to the wall. Money digging around second base. He'll go to third with a stand-up triple. And the Brewers have now cut the Yankee lead to 2-1. That's a line drive to center field. Maddox, who plays a shallow center field, had a shot at the ball. Looked like it was going to be a base hit as it left the bat. Elliott really hustled and almost got to it, skipped under him, went past him into center field. White had to retrieve the ball, and by the time White got it, Hansen had scored easily, and Money dug into third base with the second triple of this inning. Yankees now lead 2-1. Bill Verdon and Thurmutz now talking to Medich. Sixto Lezcano is on deck. Rookie right fielder is 1 for 3. And the Yankees will bring their infield in. Brewers erupting here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Yankees carried a 2-0 lead into the 8th inning. They picked up their 2 runs in the 7th inning. A 2-out triple by Elliott Maddox driving in White. And a single to right field by Alec Johnson for the Yankee 2 runs. A triple by Hansen pinch hitting, and a triple by Don Money for the Brewer run. Now the infield in, Medich setting. And the pitch to Lezcano. Swung on, drilled to right center field. White's over there, he's got it. But tagging at third base and scoring easily is Don Money. And the ball game is tied up. Yankees 2 and Milwaukee Brewers 2. George Scott. Scott slides to right field. He singled to left, and he's bounced to second. Takes outside. It's a ball. 2-2 tie. Bottom of the 8th. Medich rocks back, kicks and deals a 1-0 delivery. Breaking ball is a call strike. It's 1-1. Scott didn't like the call. Backs out now, says something to the home plate umpire, Bill Haller. And the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, line to right center field. Maddox over there, backing up, one-hands it for out number 3. Brewers score 2 runs on 2 hits nobody on base. And at the end of 8, scores tied. The Yankees 2, the Milwaukee Brewers 2.
Okay, so things are tightening up now for the New York Yankees, and the pressure is definitely on the Yankees because Baltimore has already beaten Detroit by the score of 7-6. Louisiana Tech, whose 15-game winning streak is the longest in college football, strengthened its hold on the #1 ranking of the United Press International Board of Coaches Small College Ratings with a 20-7 victory over Arkansas State. Only 2 of last week's top 15 teams lost Saturday. Abilene Christian was upset by Texas A&I 46-14, and Lehigh was dumped by Pennsylvania 28-18. Western Kentucky, Boise State, Delaware, and Tennessee State continue to follow Louisiana Tech in that order.
Well, on the scoreboard, Boston beat Cleveland 7-4. Baltimore beat Detroit 7-6. Minnesota over Texas 6-0. And the Chicago White Sox 2, the Kansas City Royals 1 after 6. This is New York Yankee baseball. Let's pause for station identification.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
You're listening to the Voice of Information for the American Forces at 790 and 1420.
Roy White will lead off with the Yankees as we go into the top half of the 9th inning. We've got a 2-2 tie here at Milwaukee's County Stadium. About the way these two ball clubs have played all year long. They played 16 times prior to this. The Yankees have won 8 and the Milwaukee Brewers 8. So White's in. He's singled twice. He's walked. He's bounced to a 4th out. He's stolen a base and he scored a run. Productive night for the switch hitter. He's batting left against Tom Murphy. Makes the bunt, takes the strike. White batting .279, 7 home runs, 43 runs batted in. And goes to third base, Don Money. Guarding the line at first base, George Scott. In the dirt, he gives the pass to the catcher. Porter all the way back to the screen at the ball in the strike. Well, the Yankees have gotten enough hits to be way out in front in this ball game. They have 2 runs on 11 hits. The Brewers have 2 runs on 7. And the next pitch. Swung on, loose foul down the left field line. That'll be back in the seat. Got a couple changes for the Brewers. Number 2, Jack Lynn's playing shortstop. And number 21, John Vukovic, is playing second base. We're down the right field line and we cannot hear the PA announcer. Fastball, drilled, Vukovic scoops it up on the grass. Throws the first base in time. Vukovic, the good fielding infielder, playing second base here. Routes wide of a base hit, and there's one away. Here's Elliot Maddox, the Yankee center fielder. Slide to right twice, slide to center field, and tripled in a run. He's also scored a run. 1 out, nobody on. 9th inning. Yankees 2, Brewers 2. They play Maddox straight away. Murphy rocks back, kicks and deals the first pitch, and it's pulled foul into the Yankee dugout on the third base side. Kevin Coble started the ball game for the Brewers. He went 6 2/3 innings. Gave up the 2 runs on 9 hits. The left-hander struck out 3 and walked 2. Murphy came on in the 7th inning when the Yankees picked up their 2 runs. He got Munson to foul out. Gave up back-to-back singles from Chambliss and Nettles in the 8th inning. But Alomar skied out. Actually, Chambliss was cut down as he tried to go to third base on Nettles' single. Foul back. 2 strikes to count on Maddox. Then Alomar flied out and Mason struck out. So that threat went by the board in the 8th. Murphy's 0-2 delivery to Maddox. In the dirt. Ball and 2 strikes. On deck, Alex Johnson. Money guarding the line at third base. 1-2 delivery. Down low, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Maddox. forget, tomorrow afternoon's ball game will start at 4:30 New York time. That's been scheduled for a night game. 2-2 pitch. Swung on. Bounces short. Lind is there. Fires to first base in plenty of time. And there are 2 outs. Maddox bounces out 6-3. That'll bring in Alex Johnson. He's a Yankee designated hitter. Brewers now have an infield of Money, Lind, Vukovic at second base, and Scott at first. The outfield remains the same. John Briggs in left. Bob Coluccio in center. And Sixto Lescano out in right field. Here's Johnson. He slides to right, bounced to second, slides to right again, drove in a run with a single to right. And he takes down low ball. Yankees 2, Brewers 2. Top half of the ninth inning, 2 outs, nobody on for the Yankees. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. Only been 1 inning in this ball game where the Yankees didn't get a base hit, and that was back in the second against Coble. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Murphy takes a long look at Porter. Now he's ready. A 1-2 pitch. Up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the 2-2 delivery. Swung on. Chopped right back to Murphy. Pitcher grabs it. Spin. Throws to first base in plenty of time. And Johnson is out number 3 here in the ninth inning. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Scores tied. Yankees 2, the Milwaukee Brewers 2.
Updating the baseball scoreboard, Los Angeles and Houston. Los Angeles still leading, but it's now a pretty close ball game. The Astros came back with 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th, and Los Angeles leads that game 5-4. The Dodgers couldn't care less about this game anymore because Cincinnati earlier was beaten by Atlanta by the score of 7-1, so Cincinnati already has been eliminated from that race in the National League West. Pittsburgh continues to battle Chicago. Chicago took an early 1-0 lead in that game. The Pirates scored 3 in the bottom of the 4th to take a 3-1 lead. Chicago chipped back with 1 in the 6th to make it 3-2. And then Chicago scored 3 in the top of the 7th to make it a 5-3 game. But now in the 8th, Bob Robertson has hit a 16th home run for the Pirates. It was a 2-run blast. So that score right now is at least tied between Chicago and Pittsburgh. And now we can tell you that it's the lead goes to Pittsburgh because the Pirates scored 1 in the bottom of the 7th, so now it's at least a 6-5 game in favor of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So St. Louis has already lost now 3-2 to Montreal, so that could be a big win for the Pirates.
Yankees have had a couple of opportunities to score this ball game. They have 2 runs on 11 hits, no errors. The Brewers 2 runs on 7 hits. They've made 1 error. Bob Robertson just hit his 16th home run for the Pirates in the 8th inning with a man on. But the Pirates now lead the Chicago Cubs 6-5. And Pirates batting bottom of the 8th. The Dodgers 5, the Houston Astros 4. That's after 6. Beat Cincinnati 7-1, so the Dodgers are the champs over in the National League West. Porter took a long time getting up. Now we're ready. And the first pitch to Darrell Porter. Swung on. It's deep down the right side, but it'll hook foul into the seat. And there's some action in the Yankee bullpen. It's like Sparky Lyle getting loose. Doesn't like the first time for much. Now he's ready. And the 0-1 0-1 delivery. A breaking ball just misses outside the ball to strike. Yankees playing quarter to full in the infield and the outfield. Fastball is high. 2 balls in the strike. They give Porter a lot of the left field line. White way over in left center field. Nettles playing a wide at third. But even with the bag. Here's a 2-1 delivery to Darrell Porter. Swung on it up in the air to center field. Maddox coming on. He's there. 100, he's got it. And there's one away. In the 9th inning, and we've got a 2-2 tie here in Milwaukee. Is outside at the ball. And the next delivery. Outside and high, 2 balls, no strike. Briggs has bounced to short. He's bounced into a double play. He's also single to right field, so he's 1 for 3. And the next delivery. High ball, 3. It's 3-0. On deck is Dave May. 1 out, nobody on here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Scores tied. Yankees 2 and the Milwaukee Brewers 2. Medich behind 3-0 to John Briggs. Has to be careful with this pitch. Swung on, check swing down toward shortstop. Mason up, fires the first, and they've got him. A 3-ball, no strike count. Briggs started to swing and a ball away from him. The ball hit the bat and bounced to the shortstop Mason, who came in, gloved the ball, threw off balance, and got his man by half a step. So they're 2 out. An excellent play by shortstop Jim Mason. Here's Dave May, the designated hitter. He flies to right field, bounced to first and struck out. He's 0 for 3. Fouled off. That'll be back to the seat. No play. 1 strike to count. Medich with the 0-1 pitch. Fastball. This one's low at the ball to strike. Yankees really fighting to hang in on this pennant race over here in the East. Baltimore's already beaten the Tigers 7-6. The Yankees need a win. Big curve is high. 2 balls and a strike on May. Say one thing, both the Orioles and the Yankees have not flagging up at all. They've both been playing winning baseball. Baltimore's won about 8 in a row. The Yankees have won 4 in a row. Down low, 3 balls and a strike on Dave May. The Orioles have done theirs the hard way. They've held them behind a couple ball games when it looked helpless. 3-1 delivery. Swung on it on the ground. Base hit right field. Manella in quickly. He'll block that ball and get it back in the second base. And Dave May holds at first base with his first base hit of the ball game and the 8th base hit for the Brewers. So May at first base, 2 down here in the 9th inning. That'll bring in Bob Coluccio, the center fielder. Coluccio has doubled. Bounced out in front of the plate. He's also skied to center field. He's 1 for 3. Marky Lyle continuing to get loose in the Yankee pen. Throw the first base. May gets back. Yankees 2, Brewers 2 here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. 2 out. And a man at first base. The pitch to Coluccio. Breaking ball is down low. Coluccio came into the ball game batting at .220. The base hit he got in the second inning, the double, was just his second base hit against Yankee pitching all year. He's 2 for 32. The 1-0 delivery. Misses outside. 2 balls, no strikes. May moving off first base. He's checked. Throw there, and May gets back easily. Now Medich sets again. And the 2-0 delivery. Check swing and fouled off. And it's 2 balls and a strike. The ball kicked off the basing of the Brewer dugout, bounced back to the first base coach, Joe Walton. He threw it back out. Jim Walton, actually, the first base coach. Walton's been rehired, so has Joe Nozick, Harvey Keene, and skipper Del Crandall for next year. Al Whitmire will take over some minor league pitching duties. Brewers are bringing in pitching coach Ken McBride, only with the White Sox and the Angels. Now the set. And the 2-1 pitch. Called strike 2, a slider on the outside corner, and there's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Medich taking a lot of time. He's being very deliberate here. We're in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Now Medich is ready. And the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled off. That'll be into the Yankee dugout on the third base side. Well, the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes on Bob Coluccio. Dave May at first base with 2 outs. We're in the bottom half of the 9th inning. The score's tied. Yankees 2, the Milwaukee Brewers 2. Now Medich is ready. And the pitch. Swung on, hit slowly toward shortstop. Mason up. Fires off balance. They get him by half a step. Just nipping Coluccio at first base. Mason makes another sparkler. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left on base. We're going into extra innings at the end of 9. The Yankees 2, the Milwaukee Brewers 2. Now looking at other scores, this afternoon Baltimore beat the Tigers 7-6. And as of now, they're a game and a half ahead of the Yankees. Boston also beat Cleveland 7-4. Minnesota 6, Texas nothing. That's the final. And the ball game going on along with this one. The Chicago White Sox 2, the Kansas City Royals 1 after 7. Looking over the races in the National League. Montreal beat the Cardinals 3-2. Pittsburgh 6. The Chicago Cubs 5. That's after 8. So should the Pirates win that ball game, they'll be a game ahead of the Cardinals over in the National League East. The Los Angeles Dodgers have already clinched as Atlanta beat Cincinnati 7-1. And the Dodgers lead Houston 5-4 after 6. One other final in the National League. The Philadelphia Phillies 2, the New York Mets 1. Milwaukee, we've got a 2-2 tie as we go into the top half of the 10th inning. Let's see, for the Yankees now, this will be their 14th extra inning ball game. They've won 7 and lost 6. And here to take you until somebody scores and stays ahead, here's the scooter, Phil Rizzuto.
Okay, Bill. That's it. Not a night conducive for extra innings, that's for sure. Temperature down in the mid-30s. But an unbelievably well-played ball game considering the temperature. All right, Lou Piniella is 1 for 4 in the night. Murphy's pitch is a ground ball at second base. Vukovic backs up. He's got to throw to first. Piniella is retired on 1 pitch. 1 away here in the top of the 10th inning. Cold in the booth here. Al Brown's got the heater on back where he is, and they turned it off down here. My feet are getting cold. Oh, boy, close the window a little bit here. right, Tom Murphy now ready to pitch to Thurman Munson. Munson has a double and a single, is fouled to the catcher and fly to left field. Takes a pitch over the outside corner, strike one call. Well, Jim Cott won his 21st ball game of the year as he beat Kansas City. And a check swing ground ball to first, but it kicks foul. And there's a little news here on Jim Cott. He's now the winningest active left-hander in the majors. And the winningest White Sox pitcher of the year by winning tonight. So Cott, who was almost released in the middle of the year, was going real bad. I remember when the Yankees came in there in the middle of the year, and then suddenly he turned his season around. And that's what happens when you keep yourself in good physical condition. The pitch is low and all the way back to the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're in the top of the 10th at Milwaukee County Stadium. Yankees 2 and the Brewers 2. Game started, 39-degree temperature. He checked his swing and it's a little low. It's 2-2. The Pirates bounced back with 2 in the bottom of the 8th to beat the Cubs 6-5. Just the Oval LaRoche, and now the Pirates have a full game lead on the Cardinals in the National League East. Murphy winds and the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Munson is struck out. And there are 2 away. And with 2 out, the batter will be Chris Chambliss. Chambliss is bounced to first, struck out, bounced to second, and single. And then Chris trying to go from first to third. He had singled in the 8th inning, and then Nettle singled to right. And with Chambliss trying to go to third, he was cut down on a beautiful throw by the right fielder, Sixto Lescano, who looks like a pretty good young ball player. All right, the pitch to Chambliss is line. That's going to be in for a base hit. Vukovic, the second baseman, is on the outfield grass. Low, what a beautiful play by Porter to save a wild pitch and an advance by Chambliss. Backhanded in the short hop. It's 3 balls and a strike. Oh, Chambliss, who is not a threat to run. The stretch, he does not go. The 3-1 pitch is foul, but back in the upper deck and out of play. So now Chambliss will be running. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Gray can pull one down the line here. Chambliss could score all the way from first base. But he will be running with the pitch and 2 out. Murphy set. There goes Chambliss. The ball is fouled again, back in the seats and out of play. So Murphy gets a new ball, flipping it up and down, back of the pitching mound. Now rubbing it up. George Scott playing in back of Chambliss at first base. 2 out in the top of the 10th. We're all tied 2-2. A must game for the Yankees. Murphy throws to first. Scott sneaking in back of Chambliss, but Chris is back. It was a tricky play by the Brewers that time, but it didn't work. Big right-hander sets again. There goes Chambliss. The pitch is bounced to second base. Vukovic up with it. Over to Scott in plenty of time, and the Yankees are retired. No runs ahead, no errors. A man left in the middle of the 10th. It's the Yankees 2 and the Brewers 2.
Wilt Chamberlain, pro basketball's top scorer of all time, has retired as coach and player for the San Diego Conquistadors. The announcement was made by club owner Dr. Leonard Bloom at a news conference. Chamberlain did not attend the conference, and Bloom declined to reveal where he was. According to Bloom, he said, "I would have liked to see Wilt play this year. I think it would have meant the championship." General manager Alex Croser will double as coach this season. Chamberlain jumped the Los Angeles Lakers to coach the Qs last year. That's the Conquistadors. But the courts would not allow him to play. Bloom said Chamberlain still will be in association with the team in the development of players. He said the reason for Chamberlain's retiring will be revealed in the next issue of a national magazine, and presumably that would be Sporting News. I should say, perhaps Sporting News, if you want to consider that a magazine, or Sports Illustrated. Chamberlain, who was 38, joined the NBA in 1959 with Philadelphia. He played 1,045 games before jumping the Lakers prior to last year.
All right, we're going into the 11th inning now. Well, no, we're not. This is the bottom of the 10th. I was hoping we were going into the 11th to get rid of the bottom of the 10th. Doc Medich will have to pitch to Tim Johnson, John Vukovic, and Don Money, unless we have some pinch hitters. Yeah, we're going to have a pinch hitter. Number 2 is Yanks Pin, L-I-N-D. He was in before for Tim Johnson at shortstop. When did he go in? No, he wasn't. Or was it? Well, tell me, Bill King. We're both on TV. 8th inning he went in. In the 8th inning. You mean to hit? Then he fouled to the catcher, and he fouls one off now. I wish somebody would tell me these things. It's a very important ball game. We are broadcasting from down the right field line. First time we've ever done this. Ever. And you get an altogether different perspective of the ball game from way down here. You're not right in on the action like you usually are behind home plate. Medich winds, and there's a ground ball. Fair ball down the right field line. Right by Chandler. Spinella over quickly. The throw to second base is not going to be in time, and Lind is in with a double. For some reason, Chandler was not guarding the line, and the ball went right between Chris and first base. Couldn't believe that one. A double down the right field line. That's... doubles down the right field line. He represents the potential winning run in this ball game. The Yankees now have Chambliss in at first, Nettles in at third, as they're looking for Vukovic to attempt to sacrifice. Stretch by Medich. He delivers. Vukovic squares and busts the ball to Chambliss, and Chambliss throws to first base to Alomar covering. Chris started to go to third, looked around, and finally threw, and the sacrifice is successful. From 3 to 4, and now what does Burton do? Now, he's got to walk the bases loaded. There's no other way to play this. He's got to walk the bases loaded and hope for a fourth play at any base. Of course, it makes it difficult because then if you walk another man, you're forced in the winning run. Don Money up there is one of the toughest clutch hitters in the game. So, Burton is out there talking with Medich and Munson. Let's see how the Yankees are going to play this. They call Jim Mason, the shortstop, in. I don't know if there's any action in the Yankee bullpen or not. Meanwhile, there's a huddle with Joe Nostick, the third base coach, and Don Money, the batter, while they're huddling out there. While they're huddling, let's pause for station identification. This is the New York Yankee Baseball Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
This is American Forces Radio at 790 and 1420 ACN.
All right, Don Money is the batter, and they're going to put him on. This will be an intentional walk. lobbing the ball up there, which I know managers don't like, and almost threw it over Munson's head. And Jack Lynn was ready to come in if the ball had gotten by. So Money's at first, Lynn at third. Only one out here in the bottom of the 10th. We're all tied 2-2. And now let's see how they're going to work it with Sixto Lescano. And now Munson wants time. Go out and talk with Medich. That could be the way they work it if Money decides. If they decide to pitch to Lescano and Money decides to try and steal, Munson talking to Medich, really having a look up at him and tell him he might fire the ball back to him. They did that the other day in the game and got the runner off third base. Lescano has singled and stolen the base, bounced to third, bounced to second, and hit a hard sacrifice fly that Roy White had to make a fine play on that drove in the second run to tie up this ball game. So let's see. Will they or won't they? Yes, Munson's getting down now, and they're going to give the signs. The Yankee infield has to play in. This is it, the whole season hinging on this inning. And a ball almost gets away from Munson. A beautiful backhand grab by Thurman. Ball one. Now time is called as Thurman wants to tie his webbing up a little bit. So the ball doesn't sneak through there. They've been playing 160 ball games and then 9.5 innings of the 161st game, and everything hinging on this ball game. Well, not everything, but 90% of the season hinging on this game. The Yankee infield is in. Runners at first and third with one out. Score tied 2-2. The stretch by Medich. And the pitch. He squares the bunt and fouls it off. It was not the suicide squeeze. It was the safety squeeze as Lind had not broken from third base. And Lescano tried to butt a real bad ball that was almost in the dirt. Just got his bat on it barely and fouled it back. Oh, man, this tension is too much. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Hardly any defense against the suicide squeeze. Lynn leads off third. Medich set. And the pitch low and outside 2-1. Medich keeping the ball down. If Lescano does hit it, he wants him to hit a ground ball. Money leads off first. Lynn leading off third. Here's the stretch by the doctor. The pitch is foul. Money was running. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. And I tell you, Sandy Alomar pulled a smart play. He just stood his ground. Money almost ran into Sandy. Sandy did not move. And Money just did dodge him at the last second. Now, the count is even at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners at first and third in the bottom of the 10th, all tied 2-2. Into the stretch position. And the pitch fouled back on the screen and out of play. Lescano is having some good cuts at that ball. Doc gets a new one, rubs it up. Everything coming down through the wire. The outfield is playing very shallow. If he gets a hold of one, it'll be over the head. Roy White, Elliot Maddox, or Lou Canella. They're playing way in. To try and catch a line drive and get that runner at the plate. The pitch, high and tight at the full count, 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, only 1 out. Medich again walks back on the grass at back of the mound, rubs the ball up, blows on his pitching hand. Now we have action in the Yankee bullpen. We can't see, but in all probability it's Sparky Lyle. Blocked out from seeing who it is. All right, here's the stretch now. Big pitch coming up. The 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. And the bases are loaded. The bases are loaded with 1 out and the batter, George Scott. Scott has flied to right, single to left, bounced to second, and lined to center field. field. And Larry Murray is going out to left field. Youngster who came up from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Larry Murray will take over for Roy White in left field. Give him a little stronger throwing arm in left field in the event of a line drive, and the outfield still has to play shallow. So the Yankees need a big break here. They have had several breaks in the ballgame, and they have had several go against them. Some of their own making. This is the time they really need one. Medich, meanwhile, continues to loosen up. It is so cold out here. Just sit around or just stand around for a little while. Circulation stops. So the Brewers have Lescano at first, Money at second, Lind at third. There's one out, and Nevada George Scott. And now the Yankee infield has Chambliss in at first, Nettles in at third, and Mason and Alomar about halfway where they can go for either the double play or the play to the plate. Pitch to Scott, ground ball, base hit. That's the ball game. There go the Yankee chances after 161 games. The Yankees have been eliminated from the pennant race as George Scott hit the first pitch right through the middle for a base hit. And so the strategy went by the board. All the great playing of the Yankees all year long. And I just can't believe it. I'm sitting here, I'm actually stunned.
And with that thought, we'll leave Phil Rizzuto and the Yankees Network. This broadcast was authorized under rights granted by Milwaukee, New York, and was intended solely for the entertainment of the AFRTS listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the description and account of this game without the express written permission of Milwaukee and New York is prohibited. So Baltimore has clinched the American League East, beating Detroit 7-6. The Yankees beaten by Milwaukee in 10, 4-3. Now this is Ken Allen speaking for Rod Richardson and Carl Callender. This has been a presentation of AFRTS Sports. This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
This is the Southern Command Radio Network, an affiliate of the American Forces Radio and Television Service.